StartupBus, you get on a bus with people that you don't really know, pitch your idea in the front of the bus, and then over the next 3 days you need to build a product that people can actually use and that you can demo. What we're building is an international community of entrepreneurs. With the Masters Bus, we actually had the teams nominate themselves to get into the finals.
If we choose two concepts that are actually excellent, that can come and do the incubation period and they become successful, and it makes, the fact that we've been on this and have that community, it makes it even more prestigious.
We're a little kind of disheartened that there's this push to have companies cut.
I booked a flight, I'm out of here because I'm not going to be a part of something that is a faux operation to build businesses.
I think actually it might be a good thing for him. You guys have to nominate who you want to go forward. It's now to take this to the new level and actually build a business.
We heard the crowd opinion, let's hear an individual opinion.
2, 4, 3, 4. Based off that, we've got 2 for non-scription, 2 for rep check, 4 on Yank. He just put rep check. He had the deciding vote.
Rep check. Yeah, rep check. Rep check.
Yeah. Woo!
Congratulations, gentlemen.
The agenda is we get you all to Austin, you settle into your accommodation. 3 p.m. we're going to be shutting it off and announcing who makes the online competition. So 2 new finalists will be joining the winners from today. The alumni bus will also have 2 winners that we nominate, and at 9:30 at Champions in Austin, we'll be hosting the event.
Sir, would you please come up here and accept your prize? Please give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir, I love it.
The traditional StartupBus vest. And James, I'd just like to say, if you check the one pocket, you will find a little appreciation from all of us. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And anytime that we're going to get on a bus, we want you to be our driver.
Oh, thank you all very much. And I've enjoyed every moment of it.
One more.
Learned a lot about pitching.
One more round of applause, James. Everybody. Thank you. Woo!
StartupBus started as a joke where I said, let's get on a bus and launch a startup by the time we get to Austin, Texas. And since then, we've had 20 odd buses and about 700 people launch startups over the last few years. It's a people accelerator.
Some of my doubt here over the last 24 hours has really come from our seeming lack of ability to make people understand what our product is really all about. Like 80% of the people that we pitch this to have no idea what we're talking about. When I talk to them after the pitches, they seem to be very confused about what industry we're in. In our presentation, we just haven't come up with the exact right terminology and the right way to present this thing so that people can quickly understand exactly what it is that we're trying to do. You know, I came up with a list, I think it was yesterday, for the presentation of 5 different vertical markets that use net 30 transactions. I haven't. Yeah, I haven't.
We are finishing touches on our presentation. My understanding is that we ended up receiving the second highest votes from all team leaders of all other teams who were able to place 2 votes for any other team other than their own. So over the last couple of days, we've managed to convince our competitors that we are one of the better bets on this bus to actually carry the StartupBus brand forward and to represent the alumni bus against everybody else.
Trying to come up with better ways to explain this thing very early in the presentation so that people don't have to spend the whole time listening to the presentation trying to figure out exactly what it is that we're talking about.
Like what's interesting there is for us just to maybe step forward a year to what it is that we're doing and just work around that area and then let them ask us how we're getting to that point and then be like, this is how we're getting to that point.
We want to win this. We want to win this really, really hard, but we have to be more productive in the last 24 hours than anybody else around us, because otherwise we probably don't have a good chance.
Please don't drop the phone. Please don't drop the phone in the bathroom.
I have no idea if I get calls. Awful.
Just risking the embezzlement, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, maybe I should talk about this on Ghost Post and talk about my peeing on Ghost Post.
You guys using Ghost Post now?
Oh, as often as there are people on a channel and I find one where they're actually talking, I'm on Ghost Post. Well, I think scumming up was a great idea, otherwise I wouldn't have pitched it. And I think that we feel it's still a good idea, and what we're going to do is we're going to come back in like 30 days or so once the thrill and the tiredness of this competition is worn off. We really have a chance to evaluate whether we can put the time into it that it needs to be complete.
And actually, I can close a big deal in licensing that platform to my college. I already have talks with them. I can make easily like 50K.
Up front, we want to try to have a judging for the StartupBus here. We have companies that have been made on buses that were driven from Mexico City. Is Mexico here? Yeah!
Welcome to the StartupBus All-Star Finals. We've got our regular competition where we had our grand final yesterday in San Antonio, and we had a winner and a runner-up. That winner was Career Mob, and the runner-up was Next Chapter. And we had an online competition that we closed today, and the people that won that were Wrong Credit Score. We also had an alumni bus, veterans of StartupBus, trying to build something at a more intermediate level, if we call everyone else a beginner. We had 2 alumni buses nominated. One of them was RepCheck, and the other one was Yank. Finally, we have a special group where we bypassed the normal judging criteria based on the conductor nominations. And we had Deliverish, Breezeskate, You Supply Me, and Ghost Boats. The first team will be Career Mob from New York City.
So good evening, everybody. We are Career Mob. Turns out, one of our team members who could not be here today because he is in DC due to his military duty, we all got on a bus in New York City 5 days ago. We did not know each other. We had very different ideas, different personalities, but we had one thing in common. We all wanted to find a problem, a real life problem, and wanted to solve it. There are over 400,000 military officers who will be leaving the military in the next year. The unemployment rate among veterans is above 12%. The people who serve our country deserve better. And we solve this problem by creating Career Mob.
Any military member can go to this site and they check it out and they see there's a skill search, there's a career search, and there's a mentor search. But his only former experience has been in economics and then the military. And Josh sees that there's public relations available as one of the trending skills. And he gets really excited because he loves public relations and he's always been interested in it. So he clicks on public relations to access the site. And then he gets to the career page. He's really excited because he can see the skill tree of all the skills he needs to have in order to achieve his career goals.
The reason this was number 1 was in 48 hours, the fit and finish of this idea was pretty good.
We actually have a whole database of the jobs related to the skills related to the military code, which is all working.
And we love the mission of the company.
This idea is totally awesome, and I really admire you for kind of being this specific. The one thing that occurs to me though is that the problem that you're solving for military personnel is kind of a problem that the entire economy has. Although as an outsider, talking about the U.S. economy, obviously not a lot of direct experience, but it seems to me that there's a general problem with the economy's changed really fast. The industrial jobs and other jobs that were around a while ago aren't here anymore. This is a problem that could be solved for a lot of people who've been left behind in manufacturing, heavy industry, other things that may have skills they could bring to bear in another career.
Is your team committed to making this a reality? What will you do it? Will you follow through?
We are completely committed. All of us are excited. My business partner is a war veteran, and I completely believe in this, and all of us do.
All right. Thank you.
So we're going to now move on to the next team. This is Wrong Credit Score from the Southeast, and they were one of the lead teams on the online competition.
All right, guys, we're Wrong Credit Score. I came on the bus with a problem that I wanted to solve and a solution that I believed that I had. We pair up people that have faulty errors on their credit reports with specialized attorneys that will fix their problem at zero cost to themselves. There are 1 in 5 Americans that have a major error on their credit score. This can often affect people when they want to refinance a house, buy a car, often get a job, all kind of financial decisions. If you have an error on your credit report that's not your fault, you can't really do much as far as financial purchasing power goes. We're not a sexy iPhone app. I'm not a developer. But I found a problem, and I think I found a solution. And frankly, I think it's a minimum viable business that can be very profitable in the next few weeks. We have attorneys that are ready and willing to find consumers that they can help, and there's no cost to the consumer to do this. The attorneys work on contingency. We're excited to go out, regardless of what happens, and try and help consumers that have been wronged by these massive hegemonic corporations that do credit reporting.
So I didn't see product. StartupBus is about product, market, and traction. Even if it was a video, I know we don't really have good internet connection here. I saw no product. A slide deck really isn't something I care about. I want to see results. I want to see an actual MVP. You threw up 2 names up there, free credit report, whatever. You're yet another URL that people are going to have to learn and figure out. So how are people going to find out about you? You're going to have a marketing budget. You know, you're going to have to. It doesn't even sound like it's a particularly differentiated brand. That's I feel a problem.
We developed a pretty simple site. We wanted to build a business and not a piece of technology because that's what I do. So we built a basic site with forms. Frankly, I had an hour and a half to prepare this pitch. I threw this deck together as fast as I could. I've slept 12 hours pretty much in the last 2 weeks. So, you know, I did the best I could in that respect.
So basically, even though we're retarded, we're actually pretty good for retards. That's kind of what the pitch is.
We try.
I think now we're ready to move on to the next team, which is You Supply Me.
Hi, we are You Supply Me, and yes, we are those 4 Mexican guys who are just about to change the way buyers and suppliers are doing business. So there's one company for each 60 people on the planet. That is 115 million companies worldwide, very different companies that are looking for suppliers, and it's very hard for them to get them. We've been operating with this model for decades now, and we cannot accept to still be doing business in 2013 the way we did business in 1986. We built a web-based platform called YouSupply.me, where basically we have 2 types of users that we are connecting. We have buyers and we have suppliers. Any buyer can easily post what they want, their requirement, put it into a category, like I need 10,000 bricks, you put it into a category, and suddenly you have an army of suppliers getting notified, like, be aware, this guy, somebody wants what you can offer, make the best bid. So you have people competing for us to give us the best bids. It's applicable to any industry in the world. So we're not only building a startup, we are game changers.
So I feel like I've seen this idea a lot before, and it didn't work. And partly it didn't work because it never reached a scale where there was sort of network effects that kick in. You really have to have like everyone using it, otherwise it's just a place you go to have a restricted set of suppliers, right? Rather than all the suppliers that maybe you find online. You didn't really address what makes your model different so that it's going to succeed where those other very, very similar systems failed.
Everybody can do this. It doesn't matter. What we want is people having options.
You know, you're pitching yourselves as middlemen. Well, the internet is all about disrupting middlemen, right? I think that you're actually going to create more problems potentially. You know, like what happens when the demand scales? You know, are you going to have enough suppliers, right? How are you actually going to ensure that fulfillment happens? Is there enough inventory? What if there's a shortage on bricks? You know, you're making yourself responsible for a lot of problems that you have no control over. So, I mean, what do you think you can do to address that?
We are not responsible for that. The only thing that we give them is the possibility to know more people, to have more possibilities. That's the only thing that we do.
Okay, so how are you actually making money is my question.
Okay, we have different types of subscription. This is $499 per month. And you get, as a buyer, you get only 10 posts. And you get, as a supplier, only 100 possible views of different needs. Also,
I feel like the problem with that is, you know, you've just become one more place for people to look and not the definitive place for people to look.
The next team that's going to be up is Yank.
I am an avid runner and running coach. Because of this, I have many friends who are also runners. Last year, one of my friends, Anna, went out for a run by herself and she was sexually assaulted during that run. This is an unfortunate situation that I hope nobody ever has to go through. 244,000 cases of sexual assault and rape occurred last year. 2,700 of those happened on a college campus. That's 7 incidents per day. That's a scary statistic. We are Yank, a personal alert safety system that utilizes 2 things you already own, your smartphone and your headphones. It's simple, it's very intuitive to use. You simply launch the app. In one button, you alarm it. It runs in the background, and when you feel like you're in a dangerous situation, you simply yank the headphones out of the smartphone. In seconds, my emergency contacts are notified with a text message and email letting them know that there's a potential situation. Sometimes you pull your headphones out by accident, or you forget the app is running, so we want to give people the option to exit out of the emergency sequence if it was an accident. The emails and texts that go out include a URL to a website, and that website has a map of where you are and what time the incident occurred. All of these things are configurable within the app settings. So how do we make money? It's very simple. We charge for premium features, we charge for subscription to access a 24/7 call center, and we also charge per incident.
I wanted to offer a couple of observations. One is, this issue is unbelievably important to me, like personally, and just in general, and it was just International Women's Day, and so like huge thumbs up for like the cause that you guys are trying to support. Secondly, you know, it feels to me like charging for premium features, like why not just charge for the app? Like why not just make it $1, you know, like if that's going to cover your costs and include everything with the app. Like the last thing you want to do is like buy the app and then realize like the premium feature of like alerting the police wasn't purchased at the time that you're actually being assaulted. That would be a really terrible user experience.
Let's see, so your goal is to help prevent sexual assault, and the name of your product is called Yank.
We knew that was coming.
One thing that bothers me a little bit is it's a pretty low barrier to entry. Pretty much anybody could do this. I'm also concerned that you don't have a sales and marketing person on your team. This is the kind of thing that you're going to have to scale up and do very big nationally to really make good money on it.
So we're now moving on to the Midwest with Next Chapter.
Hi guys, we're Next Chapter, a full-service publishing company with a crowdfunding twist. Now, I've been in the book publishing industry for the last 13 years. I've published hundreds of books, and I can tell you that this industry is changing fast. Next Chapter eliminates risk in 3 simple steps. Number 1, authors pitch their idea on our site with a sample chapter. Number 2, readers consume the sample chapter and decide if they want to fund this project or their favorite idea on our site. And 3, if fully funded, Next Chapter will publish, distribute, and pay a royalty on every copy sold. I would like to tell anyone who has a book idea out there, come to Next Chapter, put your idea up, try to get it funded, and if it gets funded, we would love to publish you and pay a royalty on every single copy sold at no expense to you.
The problem with book publishing is like, you know, getting the quality books to the surface, and the problem with starting a publishing company, you've got a brand, you know, and you want your brand to stand for quality, and you know, your pitch didn't really answer for me, like how you're going to like have everyone be a publisher and also somehow have your brand not be totally shit.
And by the way, we're not Kickstarter for books. We're a full-service publishing company using the Kickstarter model to filter out bad projects. So we only get the fully funded projects, and that's what we publish. Otherwise, if it's a bad idea and doesn't get published, like you said, crap, well, it's not going to get funded, so we're not going to publish it. You want to put money behind it, and we'll publish it.
You guys probably get like a B+ for pitch. I still need to see numbers. I need to see more info about market. You know, you guys, you have a great idea, but I need to know, can it actually work? Your costs are built into whatever the goal
crowd is funding our publishing company.
Right, okay.
Right.
So basically, you determine that right up front. You think are you printing on demand?
It depends on the level, and I could get into that in details, but there would be a level with an ebook where we would publish the ebook, then maybe a print-on-demand level, then maybe a full-scale print run with full distribution all over the world to the bookstores. Yeah, and that would depend, yes.
I think you guys have team. You need a better pitch. The business, I think, is there, but I would love to hear more detail about it.
Thank you.
If they're ready now, we're going to get Briefskate, which is from the Southeast Bus.
What's Briefskate? Well, it's the only board in the world that you can open and put your personal items inside. Now, when people go from place to place, well, they need a place to put their things. And so we have the only skateboard or longboard that offers riders a place to put their personal items. We've got the patent, and we've got it for the next 17 years.
Skateboarding has seen the largest jump in participation of any recreational activity in the entire world over the last decade, according to National Sporting Goods Association. Last summer alone, from May to July, $7 million worth of skateboards were sold in the United States. So with the proper funding and manufacturing, we are entering the market when it's hot and buyers are buying.
How did that get here in 3 days?
Okay, well, we had the
30
CAD
seconds.
files online, and we reached out to a friend in Colorado to send us a solid 3D prototype overnight. And we also communicated with somebody in Tampa who made this in his garage, and he overnighted that as well. And we just got so lucky that they timed it exactly to meet us at Rackspace overnight shipping for us to have this here today.
I think that you've made history and that you've actually created the first physical product on a startup bus.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congrats.
I am simultaneously impressed and appalled as a former skateboarder that there is now a market for one that can contain a laptop. And so for me, psychologically, thinking as a consumer, like, how do you overcome the perception that this is a really great way for your precious stuff to get smashed into something?
Here we're pitching obviously technology inside the board, and tablets are a lot more robust and sustainable than a laptop would be. But you can put your gloves, an extra t-shirt, a skate tool, and those things are essential. If a student's on campus, he's trying to get to class, he can tighten up his trucks and book it across campus to get to class. So
I'm the wrong audience for this. I am not a skateboarder. I've never really been a skateboarding guy. But do you think there would be a problem with like weight imbalance or something in the skateboard? Like, is that something that would affect performance?
Well, the performance of the skateboard would kind of vary depending on what you put in it and how dense it was and whether it was on one side or the other. So I mean, for commuting, I mean, it seems like the rest of it is heavy enough that it'll just go. But I mean, for me, I would just wear a backpack with those things in it and ride a normal skateboard that I'm used to. I mean, not to be overly harsh, but that's what I would do instead of buying this. I would look at it and I would go, that's interesting that exists, but I just will keep my things in my backpack like I was already doing.
We're looking to raise about 150 grand. We can make a casting of this anywhere from 15 to 40 grand out of anything from wood to composite, including aluminum and maybe a carbon fiber top. After that, the per unit cost would be about 10 on average.
Yeah.
For the board, without the trucks.
Great job. Very inspirational that you got this done in 2 days.
Well done for making a physical product.
Great job.
And we're now moving on to RepCheck.
Hey guys, my name is Curtis Klein and I'm with RepCheck. Do you guys know anything about consumer credit reports? Probably. Do you know anything about business credit reports? Probably not so much. So the way that it works is a company like Champions here, this restaurant and bar has a bunch of stuff that they have to buy from their suppliers. And they buy napkins and glasses and dishes and that kind of stuff from their supplier. The supplier drops it off. And these guys don't cut a check for it. They just get an invoice and they pay them later. So how does anybody know that they want to do business with a place like Champions? Well, the way that it works right now is that these vendors talk to each other. They have Champions fill out a credit application, including trade references, and then the vendor calls the trade references and asks them for feedback. And I'm talking with a telephone or with a fax machine. They fill out forms by hand and they fax them back, and you can't read them. So that's the way the process works right now. What RepCheck is going to do is change the entire model. We're going to take this thing out of the fax machine and into the cloud. We built a really cool interface for companies that need to do credit applications with other companies. All this is really basic stuff. You'd think it would have been done 10 years ago, but really, seriously, there are no tools out there for this. It's going to majorly help a company like mine. I would sign up for the product tomorrow.
It's a really great, fundamentally a great idea. I didn't see exactly where you're charging people and the size of the market, so it's hard to see like exactly the size of the opportunity.
So you have to worry about, is your data accurate? Is the reputation really the reputation? So that's something that I think you need to think about. I'm also, I'm wondering, like, you've got big competition in this area. How are you going to do your sales and marketing? Like, what's your market segments? What are you targeting? Are you going for a particular niche? These are things that I would have liked to have heard more about. Sure.
And we're now going to hear from Deliverish.
Make some noise! Woo!
All right.
Who's here for the StartupBus? Yeah! My name's Erica. We're with Team Deliverish. We started out, we met each other, all of us, this awesome team back here. These people I fell in love with. I'm pretty sure my soulmate's probably on this team, but I'm not sure which one it is. So we started out 4 days ago. We met each other. I pitched an idea. The idea was I want to transform local logistics. I use all kinds of apps out there. I'm fucking in love with TaskRabbit. I'm in love with Airbnb. I love anything that's in the collaborative consumption space. I'm in love with it. I would marry that motherfucker. I want to. Like, if you're a person, I would marry that motherfucker. Yes. So I pitched this idea. I'm like, you know what? I love TaskRabbit. But you know what they don't do correctly? They set me up with the right person, but what they don't do is that they don't make the logistics of that person getting to me and back easy. I'm like calling and texting. I'm like, where the fuck is my motherfucking TaskRabbit? Picking up my CDs to burn them to my motherfucking hard drive. Where the fuck is my TaskRabbit? We came up with this app, and we decided that we were going to help anyone get anything delivered anytime. But what I want to tell you really is I'm not here to pitch you because I love StartupBus. I love this experience. We all love this experience. And we want to tell you about passion. We want you all, no matter what, to follow your passions because we fell in love with each other. We fell in love with this idea. And no matter what, Wiki always wants me to pitch the idea, but guess what I'm pitching? I'm pitching our love. She is freaking out, but guess what? I love her. I love her, and I love this team, but Wiki, you gotta calm down.
You win the Entertainment Award of the evening.
You, at least if you don't make it in the startup world, have a career as a stand-up comic, or at least an MC.
So, what makes Ghost Post special is we get around some of the hypocrisy. We provide a forum for you to say what you really want to say, without repercussion, basically. Facebook and Instagram paved the way, Twitter paved the way to interacting live with huge audiences, talking with each other anonymously. Think about what they say to one another. There's an obvious need for what we're doing here, and in just 2 days we've collected 3,300 users, 10,000 views. We have a 30% retention rate, 3.5 minutes on the site, and our team's incredible.
This pitch is everything that's wrong with Silicon Valley. Everything that's wrong with it. Messaging apps are taking off right now. Like, that's not a reason to support your particular app. Like, this is insane. I love it if it's 4chan with ghosts, but I'm not gonna fund it. Like, Jesus, that's crazy. I will use it. That's the thing that's confusing me right now, is it's adorable, and I will use it. But I also just don't understand why this needs to be a company.
This has also been done before. Vibe is a location-based anonymous service. I don't see what really is going to compel people to actually use this. The world's shortest attention span is the internet, right? This is going to last for like 10 seconds. Everyone's going to go back to Reddit. All right, so I need to know what, this is not differentiated. There's not enough here, right? This is very light stuff.
This isn't just about chat. It's about a new layer in the social sphere. There's a lot going on.
It's just super fucking fun, and there aren't a lot of places like that on the internet.
Exactly.
It's fucking rad.
Remind me what RepCheck does. RepCheck is guys helping with credit reports and spell business.
The biggest problem with them was that they were like, we're going to use social media to source reputations of business, and I'm like, I don't trust y'all.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm more biased to the book. I believe in them there because of their book publishing past. Number one, I think is Career Mob. Does that match everybody?
I think we're unanimous.
Yeah. Career Mob is the clear best business and best execution in 48 hours. And our number two, what do you think? The next chapter, or
it's definitely a toss-up. I feel that Next Chapter has a stronger team than RepCheck. There's clearly a market there. There's clearly something ripe for disruption. But I feel like team is important. We need to really focus on team.
We got our winners.
Everyone asks what StartupBus is, and a lot of people say it's a hackathon. It's not a hackathon. A lot of people say it's like an incubator. It's not an incubator. I like to use a term called a foundry. A foundry, if you know what it is when you get raw materials and you create something more valuable after it. StartupBus is a people foundry. You step on that bus with $10, you step off with $20. We put you through an intense experience that pushes you beyond your comfort zone, and you get a new insight into yourself as a person. And there are literally hundreds of stories that I get in email and on one-on-ones where people tell me how StartupBus changed their life for that reason.
I think StartupBus does a lot of things, but personally I think it's more about people. You meet people that you share a bond with sort of for life out of StartupBus. You meet connections that you probably would never have access to. I mean, to me it's a family. I got it early and drunk, and StartupBus has changed my life. I don't think I'm necessarily drawn to the chaos, but for some reason I keep doing it anyways. I don't know.
We survived again. A lot of hackathons award cash prizes, and I guess that's one thing that we're very different in, that we just don't offer the cash prizes because we think it kind of corrupts the competition that we're doing. People say we're one of the best hackathons they've ever participated in.
And the winner, without looking at my iPhone, was Career Mob.
I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow morning, but I know that the next 6 hours I'm going to come up with it and I'm going to win with it.
Sorry about that, but thank you for coming and thanks for supporting StartupBus.
And thank you for everyone's patience. It's been a long night. The bar's gone dry. We need to move out of here, but we're going to keep partying for the rest of the weekend. Keep your badges, wear your t-shirts. You're going to find 150 people around town doing the same thing. You might not know each other, but you're going to recognize the brand and you're going to have a new best friend that you can go drinking with.
I mean, there's a lot of things that go on, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what comes out of it and the experience people had. And I thought the actual organization of the event was a huge success in that sense, because it is very chaotic. And I think from the output of the teams, the people that were involved and the products that they built and launched, and to get like 5,000 users, for example, that's very reflective of the work that the conductors did. And that is the ultimate, I think, measure of success, like the fact that we have high quality people producing high quality outputs, and they had a great time doing it. And that's what I think is the biggest thing.